What if this Mercury retrograde isn't just about communications, breakdowns, and tech glitches? What if this Mercury retrograde is your soul's wake-up call? What if this Mercury retrograde is going to help you make some big decisions and realign with your soul's destiny? This Mercury retrograde is truly different. It is a destiny checkpoint. Join me as we check in with the energies to help you navigate this Mercury retrograde period, punctuated by 2 eclipses and also a Venus retrograde. So welcome to the channel, or welcome back. So awesome to see you here. We're going to get right into an astrological overview of this Mercury retrograde period and some significant dates, some significant things that are coming out about the energy. And we're taking it into the month of April as well, with some powerful destiny-changing energies involving Neptune and Mercury. All right, so I am going to be referring to my bullet points on the side here to help me stay on track, and so that you can also follow along and see what you need to know about this powerful Mercury retrograde. Okay, so the first thing is it is a fated shift. Why? Because Mercury goes retrograde in Aries the day after. It's not even 24 hours after we have the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo, which is happening on the 14th of March. And that is quite an intense eclipse. I don't know if you've been feeling it. You probably have. Let me know in the comments. So what's been going on with you with this eclipse? There have been a lot of revelations, and it may not be necessarily news from out there, but it's news within you, like being brought up for review, especially maybe your past, which ties in with the Mercury retrograde. Mercury rules Virgo, which is where the eclipse is happening, and the lunar eclipse is about purging. So we're reviewing our history. We're reviewing our history, what needs to be let go of, and the Mercury retrograde is helping us do that also. Mercury retrograde starts out in Aries. So we're going to be talking about that. But as it says here in my notes, these are final karmic conversations that we are having, possibly with people in our lives, but also with ourselves, right? And are we going to be ending a cycle, or are we repeating one? What are we doing? Okay. The energy is supporting ending and new beginnings, but we do need that reflection time, which is what retrogrades are about. And let's not forget, Venus is also retrograde right now. So we are going to touch on Neptune and what's going on. The challenge with Neptune is always fantasy versus reality. Are we seeing things clearly, or are we just wishfully thinking? But Neptune is a very high vibe spiritual energy as well, and a very creative energy. So, we have those influences as well, but we don't want to get lost in illusions. This is really our time as a collective to break free from our past with reflection, not just, oh, I'm leaving my past behind, and then we go make the same mistakes. No. Virgo does not want that for us. A Virgo lunar eclipse does not want us to make the same mistakes. A Virgo full moon lunar eclipse would like us to have reflection and release our past peacefully, learn from our mistakes, and then the Aries energy would like us to start fresh, but with the history and knowledge of experience and the wisdom. Okay, so we have a Venus retrograde, as I said. We have the Virgo full moon eclipse and also a full moon in Libra. So it's so interesting. Mercury's retrograde rules Virgo. Venus's retrograde rules the Libra full moon that is coming up in the middle of April. So we are at an emotional crossroads when it comes to relationships, money, and self-worth. Okay, it really is not just another Mercury retrograde. This is not just hype. It really isn't. It is a destiny checkpoint. So what is the big freaking deal? Astrology is a lot about recognizing patterns. So not all of it, but some of it is. So we have Mercury going retrograde at 10 degrees Aries, which is the same degree of the new moon solar eclipse on March 29th. Very powerful seeds of new beginnings at that eclipse. So definitely something that we're setting in motion now, that we're reflecting on, is going to be tied into the new beginning of the eclipse. Unfinished business, big decisions, fate stepping in. So it's vital to pay attention what's going on at this Virgo full moon eclipse also. You know, the seeds of your new beginning are in the past, but it's the seeds, it's the kernel. It doesn't mean we're going to repeat history, as I said before. Okay, so Aries is about action and independence, but Mercury retrograde in Aries is asking us, of course, to pause, rethink, and refine before moving forward. You know, Aries is about fools rush in where angels fear to tread. Not that Aries is a fool, no, but sometimes when they're in the lower vibration of Aries, you know, we love Aries energy, but Aries energy could benefit from the higher vibration of Mars, its ruling planet, which is about strategy and kind of thinking before you take that bold action. And that's what we are talking about here with this Mercury retrograde. So we are going to have time for bold new actions, bold new beginnings, but we want them to be strategic. So then, of course, Mercury retrogrades into Pisces, and this brings a whole other layer to the Mercury retrograde because of where it's happening, which is at the very final degrees of Pisces. We also have other planets and situations hanging out there, most notably Neptune and the North Node. March 27th, toward the end of March, as we approach this new moon solar eclipse on the 30th, 29th, 30th, we have big energy happening. So we have March 27th, Venus retrograde at 29 degrees Pisces. Now, why is 29 degrees Pisces so important? Because it's the last degree of the zodiac wheel. It is a karmic destiny checkpoint. It is about situations wrapping up like it needs to end. It needs to be finished so we can start at a new set point, which is 0 Aries, the spring, the new beginnings, etc. So this is really this retrograde, which is review, revise, release, right? We are looking at final conversations with ourselves or other people, which should have started at the Virgo lunar eclipse on March 14th. Hopefully, it started then. But again, we're looking at, are we renewing or completing karmic agreements? All these old patterns, past relationships, past life energy could be resurfacing for us to look at with clear vision. The North Node is at 27 degree Pisces. Now, I always explain the North Node kind of as the direction we're heading, where we're going. South Node is what we need to release, or it can be an ending. So, we're being called to step free and break free from some karmic contracts, karmic energies, because it is finished. It is finished, whether we want it to be finished or not. As the saying goes, resistance is futile. And that's why I think it's interesting with the eclipses, because eclipses can be fated energy in that sometimes, yes, there are outside events that trigger situations in our lives that we need to respond to. We always have free will, so that's, of how we respond to things. So it's not, fated in that sense, in that we have choice of how to respond, but it's fated in the sense that something happens out here that we do have to respond to. So fate could be stepping in. Are you going to step back into that energy, or are you going to finally break free from it? What lessons have you learned? This is the big question to be asking yourself. Then, March 30th, it really is a game changer day. This is huge. Mercury retrograde in Pisces is going to be conjunct Neptune. Now, what's a conjunction? A conjunction means the energies are on top of each other. They're slapped together, and it's very intense. Very intense. This is the same day Neptune enters Aries. Venus is hovering nearby, retrograde at 28 Pisces. We have the North Node nearby, okay? Now, that same day, Neptune, a few hours later, is going to head into Aries at 0 Aries. This is a once-in-a-lifetime event. Nobody alive currently today has ever experienced Neptune in Aries. The last time was back in the mid-1800s. So this is about a new vision, a new destiny for ourselves, especially in terms of our soul, our spirit. What new thing is calling us? What bold new destination is our soul craving that we want to create new karma, new connections, new contracts, but we got to clean up the old junk before we move forward. So we may need to face at this end of March, the same day we have this new moon solar eclipse in Aries, right? It's the day after the eclipse. Eclipse is the 29th in Aries. On the same degree, Mercury went retrograde. Lies could be exposed. Dreams could be shattered or clarified. You could have massive intuition downloads, especially about people and situations from your past, all to help you. It's not to torment you. It's to help you make sense of your past. This is one day, as I said, after the new moon solar eclipse in Aries, same day where Mercury went retrograde. It's time to finish the unfinished business. This is a major realignment time. And it's significant too, because if you've caught my other videos on the Mars retrograde, where I talked about it really is about that period from January 4th until February 23rd of this year, that was really about looking inward and re-examining our motivations, our emotions, what we need to move forward in our lives that feels impassioned and excited, right? But we had to do that internal re-examination. We had to point Mars's arrow inside of us and say with brutal honesty, which is what Aries is known for, and Mars rules Aries. It's about that brutal honesty of, well, yeah, this ain't working for me anymore. Something has to change. And what am I willing to change or not change? So it's interesting that we're having all this Aries energy regrouping now with the retrograde of Mercury, and then also with this new moon solar eclipse. Right? It's always about working with the energies. So the universe, the astrology, is pointing us in the direction of inspired new beginnings. But this has been a process that has been going on since the beginning of January. And I think that's fascinating, because what I feel about that is that this is not just another beginning. This is seriously a whole brand new chapter of your life. Why? Because of the process of this, and because Neptune is going into Aries. Powerful new moon solar eclipse, basically the same day, give or take, the same day. Brand new sign shift. Saturn at the end of May. May 30th is going to go into Aries. This is big. Aries is the start of the zodiac wheel. It's the new beginnings in our lives. That Mars retrograde earlier in the year was really helping prepare us. These retrogrades are helping to prepare us to get our compass sorted out, get our destiny fixed in our sight of what we want, where we want to go. So April 7th, Mercury goes direct, hallelujah, at 26 Pisces. So we could have a click in, intuitively especially, because it's Pisces where it goes direct, into the final piece of the puzzle. But the full picture is still developing, okay? It's still coming, it's getting closer and closer into view. The vision is coming to light like a Polaroid. All right, then April 12th, we have the full moon in Libra, of course, ruled by Venus. Venus is retrograde. It's ruling planet retrograde. So that really should help us make sense of all this mishigas that has been going on. Libra is about balance and harmony. And ultimately, that aren't we all kind of wanting that in our lives? All right, we want peace, balance, harmony, beauty, nice relationships. Nice. Libra's nice, right? It's like we want nice things in our lives. So I think by that full moon, we're going to have that emotional clarity to help us rebalance our lives and move in a new direction. We may have realizations about our relationships, which has been coming to light as well with the Venus retrograde, the Mercury retrograde, Virgo saying, detox from relationships that are no good for you, with Saturn opposite the Virgo lunar eclipse, like set the boundaries with the takers, the haters, the emotional vampires, etc. So again, this process that we have been going through. So it's coming, people. It's coming. That full moon in Libra, I think, is going to be very, very important. And then Venus will go direct at 24 degrees Pisces, and we'll have that emotional healing, maybe some artistic breakthroughs. We'll have the truth about our love and money lives, because that's what Venus rules. And the new chapter that we are starting, how and where we want to invest our energy. Then April 17th, Mercury will meet up with Neptune again in Aries. And right at the beginning of Aries, which is the whole new set point. It is that whole new divinely guided and inspired new beginning. So please leave me a comment and I'll respond to as many of them as I can and give some insights into what may be happening for you. I can't promise I'm going to get to everybody, but I'll do my best. And let's discuss these powerful energies, because this is unlike anything I've seen in recent times with the astrology. This is so many things that are happening at once, that it really took me a while too to kind of just sit with this and wrap my head around it and, kind of translate it as best I can into digestible information for all of you, because it is a lot. But I think ultimately what is really helpful with these energies is to understand, first of all, you're not alone. We are all going through this in some form or fashion in our lives. We are all wrapping up major cycles. We are all getting ready for energies that we haven't seen in our lifetimes. And that's the other thing too. I haven't even talked about Pluto in this video, but we haven't even seen Pluto in Aquarius in our lifetimes either. Like, these are major energies that are shifting here with Pluto, and then of course with Neptune. And then in the summer, we'll have Uranus going into Gemini. A lot of us, that was the last time that happened, I think was in the 1940s or something. So a lot of us haven't seen or experienced that energy either. So there is a lot of deep change and new energies that all of us will be navigating astrologically together as a collective. And it's going to be interesting to see how these start playing out. But as I like to say, use the retrogrades, reflect, revisit, take your time, take a deep breath. And I would say, sometimes you have to make decisions when you have to make decisions. We don't always have a luxury of, well, let's just wait until Mercury goes direct to make a decision. Sometimes you have to do what you have to do. But if you can just take a deep breath and really sift through everything in your life with calm and poise, and talk it over with a friend or whomever in your journal, before you make some sort of new beginnings, again, using that strategy of Mars, that we're not just going to take a big leap because we're frustrated. No, we are going to leap, but we're going to leap strategically. We're going to do the inner work, the rethinking, the planning, the processing, and we're going to leap strategically. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you guys, and thank you all so much for checking out your Virgo full moon lunar eclipse video. If you haven't caught it yet, I will leave a link to it in the description. You guys gave that video so much love, and I really, really appreciate it. So thank you so much. See you again soon. Stella Wilde signing out.